So we recorded it, and then we give it to the school on a CD, and then they play it through the whole school TV.
Really? Now we could do something like that. So let's talk about these projects. The intent of these projects is so that what you're doing in class is a little bit more interesting. This class could be really boring, and I hate being bored, and I would think that you hate being bored. One of the things that I say is that I don't teach computers, mostly because they're stupid and they already are coded. I don't teach computers, and that's silly. But what are they useful for? So to me, what computers are mostly useful for is so that you can learn how to think. So it becomes one of the tools that you use. Aiden, can I have your face over this way? It'll make me feel a lot better. Thanks. So that you have another tool to use when you go out into your lives. The truth is that our lives are filled with projects or problems. So I have a problem if I have something wrong with my car and I need to get it fixed, but I still have a job and I need to somehow get here. My boss tells me that there's a project that she would like me to help her work on that would have to do with improving the school, and that's true. And I got to figure out how to do that. I got a kid who needs to learn how to drive her car, but also needs to learn how to do basic maintenance, but then I have a full schedule. I got to figure out how to do that.
I know you'd see me because everyone else is...
Homie, come on, I got a class movement. Get the head off your head and get your butt in here. And you and Ariana are both late, and you are both going to have to make it up. Thank you. So your life is filled with problems. How you solve those problems is going to depend, frankly, on how much misery you have in your life. And, huh? Nice. But it's really true. If you think about the adults in your life and their lives and what they have to do, it's constant problem solving. It is constantly having to figure out how to get things done. So the goal of this project is you selecting a project that will help you get something done. Meaning you're going to take a question that's out there. Now here's something stupid. So last week there was a measles outbreak.
Well, it was like before that. It happened like in December.
Okay, so tell us what happened.
Well, obviously someone who was contagious with measles before they knew they had measles went to Disneyland, and then a whole bunch of people got it because they didn't have MMR shot.
Because they didn't have so they could have a vaccination that would have, so why didn't people have that shot?
Because the shot's not a requirement, but like personally, like I got it because I have a baby cousin, and I wasn't allowed around him if I got the shot.
Okay. But some parents are freaked out about it, aren't they? The shot, and there's some supposed side effects. So a question one could reasonably ask that would absolutely suit this project is, what is it safe or unsafe to get the measles vaccination?
I went to Disneyland after the outbreak and I didn't get measles, so
Oh yeah, your single experience, we'll project that out into hundreds of thousands of people. Thank goodness you were there. So it's that kind of a thing. There was something else. I thought about this during lunch. So my wife and I recently had solar panels installed on our house. And my brother-in-law thinks that we were idiots for doing that, but we think we're pretty smart for doing that for our own reasons. So a question you could ask, is it smart to put solar panels on your house?
yeah. They're so expensive though.
They are. Our installation was $25,000.
I have a question.
Ridiculously expensive.
Well, so if you get them installed, it will actually, I know it's a lot of money just to get them installed, but once you have them, it will save you money over time. So it's kind of like an overtime.
Exactly right.
That the price isn't as much as what you were paying before.
Right. And that's what my wife and I did. We sat down, we worked the numbers, and what we can save per month exceeds what we're paying per month for the solar. And we get to save that money over many, many years. There's also some mechanical problems, though, so there could be some question after 10 years.
How do solar panels work exactly when it comes to power companies, though? Do they charge you per month still, or is it like?
Yeah, good question. So what actually happens is that we keep getting power the same way we've always gotten it, even though the solar panels are up there. Here's the difference. The solar panels generate electricity. It doesn't come into our house. But the way they've got the wiring, it goes back into the electric company's store of electricity. So we get credit for the amount of electricity that our house generated, and they apply that to the amount of electricity that we used. Does that make sense?
You're pretty much working for the electric company.
You betcha. Well, part of it, you've got to think about this. The solar companies, I mean, the electric companies, by law, they have to have had like 30% of their electricity generation coming from non-fossil fuel sources. So yeah, we're helping them out a lot. But they're helping us a lot. Ariana, turn it off. Turn off that monitor, please. Aiden, thank you very much. So it's really, those are live questions, but they're the kinds of questions that you will deal with as adults. Does it make sense to buy a used car or a new car? Does it make sense for your parents to keep you on their insurance or for you to get your own insurance? These are questions that you have to answer sometime in the next, for some of you, another year. For some of you, it'll be a couple of years. For some of you, it'll be a few months.
Why is car insurance cheaper if you have like a B average or better?
Yeah, because what they do is they work out correlations. In other words, the better kids do in school, what else are they better at? One of those things is driving. They have fewer accidents. Why? Who knows? It turns out that they do. What probably is underneath it is if you're smart enough and dedicated enough to get a B, you have the kind of self-discipline it takes to drive a car and pay attention better than somebody who hasn't demonstrated that ability anywhere else in their life. Just a thought. But those are the kinds of things you could ask in this project. So what I'm expecting first, and this is really critical, you have to come up with that's what's called a driving question. It'll drive your research, it'll drive your efforts, it'll drive your other questions. But you have to come up with one large question that you're going to answer. Now here's what's, to me, really cool about this. You come up with a large, significant question, something that is real in your life or real in other people's lives. You then have the opportunity, I say. Cammie asked me before, she said, would you all have to do presentations? Nope. I don't want you all to do presentations. Could you? Yeah, sure. But that's kind of lowballing your efforts. What I say is, if you've got something that is significant, let's say, for example, you wanted to look at the E. coli, the non-point source pollution that's down here at Mormons, and you wanted to do measurements. Then at some point, if you're willing to do that, make that kind of an effort, and you were willing to track over time certain results of non-point source polluting, and you wanted to then go to the city fathers, or you wanted to go to the county and make a presentation, that would be incredible. That would be incredible. That's a lot of work. I don't know if anybody wants to do that much work. But it's the kind of thing you could make a presentation in front of the whole school. If there's something that you felt was really compelling, you could make a presentation, you could make a video that we can make available to parents about why they should have their kids vaccinated with measles. And that becomes, that's your presentation. Not to kids, not to any staff or anything else, but if you wanted to make an educational video, you could. If you wanted to make an educational handout of some kind, a piece of paper that had these facts and you wanted to give them out to parents, you could go in and your presentation is you go to Mr. Wick and say, Mr. Wick, I think you might want to include this in your packet for parents to give them information about, did you call them MMR? And rubella. Yeah. And you might want to do that. That's great. Those, as outcomes, if you can somehow change the world, and I know it sounds stupid, but you can make some change somewhere, that would be incredible. How you did it, I don't care. If you end up with the default, which is you just make a presentation about what you learned, fine. What's the worst case scenario out of that is you learn something. Because I'm not going to let you do things that are stupid. You're going to do things that are challenging and interesting to somebody in this world, and I would hope it would be you. Yeah, Cammie.
Would it be appropriate to do one saying like why parents should introduce their kids to alcohol before the age of 21?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because I think it's smart because then when they turn 21, they won't go crazy with alcohol.
Well, okay, you've made an assumption. You are already biasing your research. So now what I would accept is a null hypothesis. Why it's not okay for parents to introduce their kids to alcohol. And you can prove it or disprove it. That's up to you. But the thesis has to be opposite of that which you're so committed to.
Yeah, that's too much work.
Okay. This is work. I'm not kidding you. This is work. That is the heart of this course. The other stuff is kind of fluff because you sit here for too long each time you're here. But the heart of the course is this research, because this is where you go online. This is where you develop some skills. I haven't put them up here, but I've got, even the state of Arizona has got something called the 10 Standards of Educational Technology, and that's what this course is. It means that there are certain things that are outcomes. Well, there are outcomes like that you increase your ability to do critical thinking, that you know how to collaborate, that you know how to present, that you know how to do research. Those are the things that is at the heart of this course. So you're going to work while you're here. Whether or not that particular one is too difficult, okay. That's up to you. So here's what I'd like you to do right now, and I want to give you about 10 minutes to address this. I've got a couple of different sources. So what I have is actually a list of possible driving questions. And you can refine these questions. None of these questions are necessarily good the way they are, but they're, so you can see what driving questions other people have chosen. So you have that as a source to look at, and then the second thing you have are some websites that you can go to that will give you ideas about, and frankly, the one that I found most success in is the second one down. The second one down. That's where I've found the best, and students have found the best sources. Again, all we're thinking about today is, can I come up with a driving question? Let's do this in about 10 minutes, and then we'll move on to something else. So your goal today, in the next 10 minutes, is to come up with a good driving question. Okay? Any questions about forming a driving question? All right, let me have you pass those out. Harry, would you pass these out to everybody, please? Sir. Yeah, I know. Just ignore it, and it goes away, I think.
No, you just hit try again.
There is no, what?
There's no disc in the drive.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, just cancel.